episode of Alexify, the place for fashion podcast. She's a fashion content creator who is here to give us some tips on influencing and content creation and all things fashion. How are you, Claire?
Hey, I'm really good. As good as I can be in cold weather. Where are you located?
I'm in LA, but
okay. So
it's
you
honestly
can't even
so
talk.
cold here.
Really?
Well, cold for LA.
You're cold. I'm like, it's like 20 degrees.
Where are you? How cold is it
I'm
there?
in Michigan right now, and it's just like not a vibe.
Okay, so definitely colder than it is here.
Yeah, I'm ready for it to be like June and be sweating.
Yes, definitely. Well, I consider my cold as like it was 50 and windy yesterday, and I was like, oh my God, I have to wear a jacket. It's freezing.
That's a dream. That's literally a dream.
Yeah, I was like, I probably shouldn't say that it's cold because it's really not. But in my hometown, it was like 80 yesterday, and my hometown is like a very cold place. Like I'm originally from like Maryland. And so I was like, why is it 80 there and
yeah,
50 here?
They've been getting like warm fronts or something, because I've been seeing like in like New York and stuff how like yesterday it was like 70 degrees. I'm like,
I know.
all right, well, where is that here?
I was in
it's
New York a
super
few
random.
weeks ago, and I was fully expecting like freezing cold, like have to wear layers, and I like only packed a certain amount of things because I was there for fashion week, so I was more worried about like, oh, let me like pack cute things than pack warm things, you know. And I was thinking content above like comfort,
as always.
And when I got there, I was actually so shocked because I was like, I really don't like need a bunch of jackets because it was actually so warm the week I was there. But
yeah, it was really warm. I feel like that was like perfect. I feel like fashion week is always good weather. Like I can't remember a time where it was like really bad. Like it's always like nice and sunny and warm.
Yeah, it was
I don't
perfect.
know. The skies open up for fashion week.
What?
The skies open up for fashion week.
I know. They were like, oh, it's fashion week. Like, let's make it local out.
Exactly.
But anyways, so for those who don't know you, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Claire. I'm a Michigan-based content creator. I post on both Instagram and TikTok. I started like all this influencing stuff, I guess, like during quarantine. Like everyone, we were all stuck at home and stuff. And I've always been super like socially anxious. Like I've always wanted to do content creation, post like my photos, my outfits, just talk about my life and stuff like that. Like I've always dreamed of doing that, but I was way too anxious to do it. And I was scared like I was going to get made fun of in school. People were gonna be like, what are you doing? Like, I just didn't want any of that. And so when we were all home for quarantine, I was like, why not just start posting my outfits? Like, I don't have anyone to talk to. Like for all I know, no one's even seeing it. It doesn't matter. So I started doing that. And I started really enjoying it. And when we ended up going back to school, I just kind of like kept running with it. And I really wasn't thinking about what anyone was thinking. And then I started doing like Instagram stuff and like trying to grow my account for about like 6 months before I started a TikTok account. And I was just posting random things on there. And as I was growing my Instagram, I noticed that no one was really talking about the behind the scenes, because there's a lot of work that goes into like this job and like content creation, and so many like behind the scenes like documents you need too that I just didn't know about. And so I just started like talking about my journey on TikTok, like sharing with others how they could get started, what I was doing every single day. And it's just kind of taken off from there. So now on TikTok, I primarily talk about like growth tips, social media strategies. Like I offer social media coaching, all that kind of stuff. And then my Instagram is more focused on fashion and like lifestyle stuff. So I kind of have like 2 different platforms, something for everyone.
Yeah, that's amazing. I feel like so many people can relate to like not kind of wanting to get into it because they were worried about what other people thought. Because that, like, personally, I can say that like I didn't do half the things that I wanted to do because I was worried about like my high school environment and like what people were going to say. And then it was a little bit before COVID, but like my senior year, I started being like, why do I care? Why do I really, really care? I'm like, there are so many people on this planet. Like, why am I going to like let other people dictate my life? Because then I'll literally not do anything that I want to do because there's so many people on the planet and they're all dictating my life. But I like completely relate to like not really wanting to start it, and then like during COVID like getting more into it. And I feel like so many people that I've talked to can relate to that too. But that's all amazing, all the things that you do. That's so cool. And I also completely like, oh my God, so many people, and I always say this, but I feel like the content creator industry like is so like laughed upon because like, first of all, it's a primarily woman-run industry. But also like people don't realize that it's like you're doing everything. Like I have a 9 to 5 job where I also help run social media for like a different business. And we like that, like there should be like a team, or like if there's not a team, like there's at least 2 people, and like we're writing emails and we're like planning posts and planning captions and doing this and reaching out to people and whatever. And I'm like, but when you're like a content creator, you do all of that yourself. You are your own photographer, your own model, your own stylist, your own like financial person, your own like marketer. It's literally just marketing, but on a different platform than how we've been seeing it in the past. And so people are like, oh, it's so stupid. And I'm like, really? Because it's like at the moment our primary way of like selling things through to people.
So. Oh yeah, exactly. It's so influential, and it's something that so like needs to be done. And like now that it's like we've started doing influencing and stuff, I don't think that there'll be like a way to market things without it for a really long time, because it's just way more authentic, way more personal. And seeing like an ad or like a YouTube ad, like even those don't even get me anymore. I'm like, I want to see a review, because we're just so obsessed with reviews now and knowing people's opinions. But yeah, it is definitely crazy. Like you're literally an entrepreneur, like opening up like an LLC, doing all like the tax documents and stuff, were things that I never thought about at all before starting to do this. I was like, oh, I'll just post some like pretty pictures. I didn't even like think about how you got paid. Like that just like didn't even make sense to me. And I think a lot of people, because you just can't really conceptualize the behind the scenes until you're actually in it. And it's like, you don't really realize that you have to like keep track of all these different transactions, all these different spreadsheets, your expenses. Like there's so much that goes into it. And it is like kind of really overwhelming if you're not super organized about it, which like luckily I'm a pretty organized person and I'm able to like take on all that stuff. But that's also why a lot of people have managers too. And also managers just kind of like help you get more opportunities, and then they take care of like all the email stuff, and then people have like accountants for the taxing things. So you can definitely bring on people as a team, but when you're just starting out, like it's really hard in order to like access those resources and have people that actually help you. And yeah, it's just a lot on your own. Like I still do everything on my own, and it's just like a lot, especially with like adding in like coaching and adding in social media services now, where I'm like now talking to other people. It's just added like more into my schedule, and it's just gotten to be like a lot to manage all on my own.
No, yeah, definitely. And just going back to what you just said about how like we care so much about reviews, I'm like, the brands that aren't on social media and aren't like using influencers and content creators to like the best of their ability, like they're dying as a brand. Like brands that aren't currently on social media are not going to stay relevant anymore. Like, and not even just on social media, but also like staying relevant to trends and using people that like we care about and Gen Z cares about. And I'm like, because if you're not using that, like those resources, you're like dying out as a brand. And then people are like, oh, haha, like the content creator industry is so dumb. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, exactly. Like we have like these billion-dollar businesses on our back. And I think there even like so much more change needs to be done, because yes, like brands are starting to hop on TikTok, starting to hop on Instagram, but it's like now the whole thing is paying creators, and so many huge brands don't even want to pay people for their content, which when you think about it, they were paying for like photo shoots before. Like I see them on my YouTube ads, like I know they're paying for that. And so it's like when they come to you and say that they don't have a budget, like I think that's going to be the next huge shift. Whereas like if you're not going to pay us, like your brand can die. Like we don't care. Like I don't care about you. And it really, like hurts your impression of the brand too, like being on the other side of it and everything, and like having brands that I use daily, have used like for my entire life, like reaching out to me and being like, hey, we would love to work with you, but then they don't see enough value in me to want to pay me, and being like, oh, well, we don't have a budget for creators. And I'm like, well, I've probably spent a lot of money investing my own money into your product because I actually like it, and you're not even like going to see value in me and just be like so cheap to not even want to pay someone to do a service for you that you would normally pay. Because it is just so like, people laugh so much at like content creators and like, oh, they're just posting silly little outfit photos, but it's like, but I'm selling the clothing I'm wearing. Like I'm literally a service. Like people use the photos on their website, on marketing campaigns, and then those brands make thousands and thousands of dollars just from my image that I took in my silly little outfit. So it's like so crazy, because I feel like there's so many people coming at you all the time just saying like you're not good enough or we don't see value in you, but you just gotta like kind of keep going and working with the brands that actually see value, actually care about your content, actually address you by your name and not your username, or like say anything to like get to know you, hop on a call with you. I find that like really valuable. Like I used to be really shy away from that when brands would reach out me like, hey, like we could set up a call. I was like, oh, I don't want to like talk with this brand, but I have noticed that really helps build your connection with the brand. And it helps just make it easier than only contacting through email. It's just so, it can be so cold, and it's really hard to understand what they're like asking from you. And just like setting up a 15-minute phone call and just chatting with them really quick is, I think I've noticed, way better than just like emailing back and forth like 30 times to get a message across.
No, definitely. That's all like so true. When you said the using your username, there's like two things that I'm like, if you email me these two things, I know that you didn't like even look at my freaking like Instagram, like whatsoever. And the first one is, if you just use my username is my name. It is literally my first.
I know,
and
it's like
last
all the
name.
clues are there.
So I'm like, you really just didn't take the time to add the space in between my first and last name and then capitalize the L and the S. I'm like, it really like, it shows that you just like took 2 seconds, looked at my profile, copied and pasted it, and then sent like an email that you send to everyone. And then the second one is, I'm a sustainable content creator. And when fast fashion brands reach out to me, I'm like,
I know. And those are the ones that reach out the most, because they're just like spam emailing people with like username and stuff. So yeah, it is like really frustrating when you're like,
I'm just like, did you even like, you obviously don't want to work with just me then, like you're just sending mass things out, and that's fine, but it's like look at my profile, like at least like do a little bit of research and be like, oh, she's like sustainable, she's not going to want to work with us. And then I'm like, it makes me want to work with you less, because I see that like you didn't even take the time to like acknowledge my presence on social.
Yeah. And then like we're expected to give them like a nice response, like having it all like fledged out, all perfect, like having all of our rates set up, when it's like they're just sending out like mass emails, just like spamming us and not even looking at our profiles. Like sometimes like they'll reach out to me and I'll be like, oh my God, I would love to work together. And they're like, hey, can you like send us your like a link to your profile so we can check you out? I'm like, how'd you even get my email? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, where are you getting my email? It's probably like just sold somewhere and they like bought it and they just like spam send them.
No, yeah, definitely. So now that we're talking just about social media in general, I have so many friends that are kind of like us when we first started, and we're like, we want to start, but we don't know where, and like we want to grow and all this stuff. So what tips do you have, not only to just like start like influencing, content creating, whatever, but also then to then grow your platform?
Yeah, I think it's like a really long-winded answer, and like it's something, it's going to work differently for everyone, because I mean, some people start posting on TikTok and they get a viral video that gives them like tens of thousands of followers, and some people are posting every single day and like not seeing the results that they want. I would say if you're like just starting out and like haven't really posted any like influencing type stuff, like one, pick something that you're really passionate about and want to talk about. Everyone talks about like niche, and I hear that and stuff, and I think you should be able to share whatever you want to share on social media if you're building up your platform. But I do think when you're first starting out, it really helps narrowing down what you're going to be talking about. And then like when people follow you, what are they following you for? And then later on, obviously you can expand and stuff. But I think it also just like helps you like create your content, stay focused, think of ideas and stuff like that. So I would just like just picking like fashion or something and then starting to post really consistently, setting up a schedule for yourself. Like I know on my page, I really preach like posting 3 to 5 times a day when you're first starting out, which is really daunting for a lot of people. But I mostly say that just so you get comfortable in front of the camera. I think that's the biggest part when starting out is that you don't know how to talk to a camera. You don't know how to like edit. You don't know how to like utilize like the TikTok app as a creator or the Instagram app as a creator. Like, cause before you're just using it casually and you're not really thinking about that stuff. Cause there's so many things that go into it. Um, so yeah, I would like suggest trying to figure out a schedule where you feel comfortable posting like ideally daily and just staying consistent on that. Like utilizing batch shooting days is really useful because and batch shooting is just basically when you like film all your content in like 1 or 2 days a week and then you post it throughout the week, which is what I do and like a lot of creators I know in the space do, especially on TikTok, because you don't want to like get ready every day or like you want a week to think of a ton of ideas and like put them in your notes or text yourself like different trending sounds that you want to use and then doing it all in one day. It's just a lot less overwhelming and then you feel really accomplished after you're like I have all my content for the rest of the week. So I would definitely suggest if you're just starting out, like just trying to be consistent, like narrowing down what you want to talk about and then just not getting discouraged when like the results aren't coming your way because growth is like so in seasons and like sometimes like I'm going to have like a spur of growth where I'm getting like tons of followers and tons of engagement and then I have other times where I have like months of like not gaining any followers, having terrible engagement and like it happens to everyone. So I think knowing that it really like ebbs and flows all the time is important. And although it's really hard to not put value on like the numbers and stuff, you gotta want to be doing it for you. You want to be like having fun with it and make sure it stays fun.
No, yeah, definitely. I feel like, oh my God, I've like been in like a dry time, I don't know, for like literally like a year. Like I have been seeing like my Instagram like completely going down in followers and now it's going back up and it's not going super fast. It's just like going.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like I'm not even mad about it because I feel like the people that are unfollowing me are people that I don't want as followers. Like when
Mm-hmm.
I look at my insights, it's like I have a lot of men.
Mm-hmm.
And not saying that like having men followers aren't great. But it's like I feel like a decent amount of them are there because in the summer I'll post like bikinis and I'll post
Mm-hmm.
like supporting like sustainable bikini brands. And so I feel like they're there for that. And then once I
Yeah,
stop doing
exactly.
that, they're like, oh, like I don't want to follow her anymore. And so I'm like, those aren't people that I want to follow me anyways. Like I want people that are like realizing that I'm only going to be posting about sustainable fashion and that I want them to follow me because of that, or I want them to follow me because I'm a content creator and they're a content creator, or they're trying to start off, or they're looking for tips or whatever. So it's like, I like, while yes, I was like, oh God, like I wish I was losing followers right now. I was honestly like happy that I was getting like more of the followers that actually genuinely like want to stay as followers for me.
Yeah, because when you're like
Um,
starting out, everyone's so focused on gaining followers, but it's like what you really want to be focusing on is gaining a community. Like it doesn't matter how many followers you have in order to have influence if you have the right people following you. Like people with like 2,000 followers could have more conversions than someone with 10K who actually spent time posting, nurturing their community, like getting to know people that are following them and just like posting content that makes people actually want to follow you. Yeah, and I think it's like really important to acknowledge that like when your video like doesn't go viral and only gets like 100 views or something and but it has like 10 likes, like those 10 people liked you, like they're
mhm.
part of your community, they like your content, and if they like follow you after and then they continue following you, they might be following you for the next like 10 years.
Yeah.
Like so just yeah, try not to get like so down on yourself because you are just creating that community and that takes time.
Yeah. And I feel like honestly, like a lot of brands like working with uh content creators that do have like that are micro influencers that do have like a smaller following because most likely, like if you look at Kylie Jenner, she has how many million followers, but she gets only 100,000 likes or 200,000
Mhm.
likes or whatever. It's like that is like the perfect example of like, just because you have a lot of followers doesn't necessarily mean that like it means a lot.
Mhm.
Because it's like if you have 2,000 followers and you're getting 1,000 likes, like that's a phenomenal ratio.
Yeah.
And then you can tell that like the people that are following you really care about what you have to say or really like it. And then brands honestly might want to work with you more because of that, because like they see that you have such like a loyal following of like,
Yeah.
even
And
if it's
like
just
even
the
like
2,000.
utilizing those numbers in your like pitches too. Like if you only have 2,000 followers but have a 50% engagement rate, like when you're pitching to brands, I wouldn't even like mention your followers. Just like link your account and be like, my audience with a 50% like engagement rate would love your product, like would really like love to buy it if you offered a discount code or something like that. Like utilizing that and not letting it discourage you, because when you're first starting out, you probably do have like a really good engagement rate, like a really good ratio, because it's as you grow, it only goes down. It's like
No,
less
yeah,
and less and less.
literally.
And now it's like people don't even see your posts and stuff. So it's not even like your audience is even seeing it to engage. So it's just madness.
Yeah, it's Instagram's algorithm is just all over the place, but
Oh, I know.
it's
That's just
so
like a
hard to
whole
grow on that thing.
other like
Yeah, that's a
thing.
whole other thing. But
Yeah.
so how did you like start working with brands? I know I have friends that a lot of the time will ask, or like my friends that like want to start influencing, they're like, do I only reach out to brands or do I just wait for a brand to reach out to me?
Mm-hmm. When I first started, I really did a lot of like a combination of both. Obviously, having like your email and all of your Instagram, like TikTok bio, any bio you have is a way for brands to be able to reach out to you. When I first started, I was in college. And so I really utilized a lot of like college ambassador programs in order to start. Like my first like brand deal, really like sponsorship opportunity was with Amazon like Prime Student. And like so it was just like off like showing like the services that they offer through Prime, like unlimited photo storage and like Prime Video and stuff like that. And so that was like my first one, but there's like tons of others. Like I worked with like Kate Spade. I've worked I don't know, there's just like a ton of brands, honestly. Like any like really like Hulu, Dunkin' Donuts, like the D'Amelio show I did, like I was like Hulu, like super random ones. But yeah, they're all through influencer like agencies that work with college students. So like Riddle and Bloom is the name of one. Like Influence Her Collective is the name of another one. And once you find one, you can kind of branch off and like find others. But that was like my main way of getting paid collaborations while I was still in school. And then in order to just get my name out there and like starting to work with brands and stuff, you obviously have to start pitching when you first start out, just because I don't know, brands like aren't going to be able to come to you if you're not posting with other products. They're like, oh, maybe this person isn't doing content creation. They're just posting their outfits. Like you don't really know. If I work with other brands, you get on their pages, which is going to cause other brands to reach out to you. So I would pitch to like 10 brands a day when for like 6 months I did it. And like, I would say like 80% of them like just didn't respond or said no. And then like the 20% that said yes, I like set up a gifted collaboration with them and like worked with them. Um, yeah, so that was like kind of how I started out. And then once I like graduated, I kind of stopped reaching out so much. And now it's more I reach out to brands that like I really, really want to work with, like bigger brands that probably wouldn't like find me, like that I like seek out. Or just like if I have like a good collaboration idea or it's like mention something in my video that I want to like share with them. But mostly now it's like brands reaching out to me or me also applying to them on like influencer platforms, which is like a whole other one. Because you don't have to be in college to be applying to those. They're definitely kind of harder to get paid collaborations with. But like platforms like hashtag paid, Aspire IQ, like Activate, like I utilize those like obviously. And those sometimes help get paid collaborations, but it's probably like one every like 3 months that I get on those.
No, yeah. I feel like definitely when you start out, like those platforms are so important. I when I started like posting on Instagram and like I had a blog when I was in like middle school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like started posting on Instagram like a content creator, probably like freshman or sophomore year of high school. And I like just didn't know anything about that whatsoever. And so then I went to college and I met a bunch of other like content creator friends. And I remember so clearly having a conversation with one of my friends, and I was like, oh, like this is how much I charge brands, and like I don't like have any, I don't know any of those like influencer platforms or whatever. And she was like, girl, she was so shocked. She was like, I cannot believe that you have made it this far and like only and like not done any of this. And I was like, I just didn't know, because when I was starting like in middle school, like these things weren't really a thing.
Oh
And
yeah.
I like didn't know anyone that could like inform me of like how the right way to do this was, because it was like literally like if there was like an influencer like they were like Instagram was like just starting up, like like my anyone who was in like content creator was either like huge celebrities or like there was nothing else. And so
Yeah, like they
I
were like
like started
unreachable.
it before everything started, before like the whole like because the content creator industry now, I feel like you can like talk to anyone and they'll be like, oh, I'm a content creator, and I'm like, oh, same.
Yeah.
But back then like that was not even like a heard of thing. So I just was so lost, and then she met me and she was like, I'm gonna help you, and I was like, okay, thank you.
Yeah, I like remember where I was when I was like on the elliptical at like my university gym, and this girl posted on Facebook and was like, I just joined like college fashionista, and like she's not even a content creator. She was like one of those like Victoria's Secret pink ambassadors and stuff. And so she like joined that. And I was like, huh, what is college fashionista? And I like looked up, I was like, whoa, like I can work with brands from this. And then they have like all their branch off like platforms and stuff like that. And I was like my whole world just like opened up. And I'm like really glad I saw that post, because yeah, it definitely helps a lot being in college, and like also just kind of having someone manage all that stuff for you, and like they'll email you with like opportunities in a way. It's almost like kind of like having a manager, but you still have to like apply to the opportunities. But yeah, I just definitely made like getting some paid collaborations and like signing up for ambassador programs a lot easier.
Yeah, no, so much easier. So we talked about this kind of like a little bit in the beginning, but I want to get more into it. So we talked about how like there is a misconception with content creators and everyone thinking that it's a super easy job. Can we talk about like really what goes into it, like what papers you have to have, as you mentioned earlier? Like, do you think it's an easy job? Like, what all do we have to do?
Yeah, so there's definitely like a lot of different like document wise like things you need. So just for like pitching yourself to brands, like you need a media kit, you need a rate card that like has your like a media kit has all your stats and stuff, if anyone doesn't know. So it has all your like stats like on Instagram, TikTok, whatever platform you're on. And then the rate card breaks down all your different rates for all the different deliverables. So like a TikTok post, in feed Instagram, an Instagram story. So you write all that down, like send that to brands. You need like kind of a pitch script, which isn't really a document, but you need to have one like written out that you can like kind of copy, paste, and adapt to each brand that you reach out to or like responding to. Even like DMing, because I think DMing brands a lot is like a good way to get their emails. An invoice like template for when you like you can get them on Canva pretty easily, but when you're like reaching out to brands and like you do a paid collaboration, you need to send them an invoice. And also, this isn't really something that you create, I guess, but it's like a contract, like making sure that any paid collaboration you're doing, there's some sort of contract signed, and like reading through that. Like you can have your own contract that you like create and then send out to brands. But a lot of time, if you ask them, they already have one that they can just send to you. What else? Yeah, there's like, I mean, like tax forms, I think is like a lot really different for every state, and like how you manage your like income and expenses. And I mean, I didn't really like know about taxes until like this year when once I went like full time, I was like, okay, I actually have to like start paying tax on this stuff. But like in college and things, like I feel like it all kind of gets like swept under the rug, because you don't really like know that you have to be paying taxes on this. But I think it's like if you make anywhere over like a couple $100, I think it's like 1,000 or like maybe 800, you like need to be paying taxes on it. So yeah, like making sure that you're keeping track of all the money that's coming in, like through a spreadsheet. Like I have a spreadsheet where I have all my different collaborations, like the due date, the approval date, a link to like the contract in my Google Drive. Like having it all like organized makes it a lot easier. And then also having like a different spreadsheet where you're tracking like your income and then expenses on top of that, so you can like do taxes really easily, because there's a lot that goes into that as well.
Mhm. No, yeah, definitely. Those are all great things. I'm like going over all the things that I send to people and I'm like, do I have all these things that you're listing right now?
Yeah, it's definitely like you need to be like organized, which I know like some people are just like better at that than others, but like having different folders. Like every time I get a contract, I make sure to download it, like signed, put it in my Google Drive, put it in like my 2022 folder, and like changing the name of it so it's just the brand, so I know where it is. So it's definitely like a lot of organization and like moving parts. And there's definitely platforms out there, I think, that like make it a little bit easier. Like there's one for like your income, it's like QuickBooks or something like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just don't use any of those because I don't want to pay like a subscription like service fee.
Same.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. That is a great way of staying organized. I need to get better on organizing things. When I look at my like computer and I look at, I mean, I have them organized, but there's times where I'm like rushing and I like just put it in a folder and I'm like, oh, I'll organize it into like another folder later. And then I don't. And then I come back and there's like a billion random files. And I'm like, how did we get here?
I know. No, I literally did that like this past week. And like, yeah, I'm definitely not perfect in that sense. But yeah, it's like taking time and then going through all your like downloads and documents. And then like on my desktop, like I just had so many different like screenshots and things of different things, and just like trying to have a place for all of them so I don't miss any important information. Because sometimes I'll think, I'll be like, like where are those insights that I took a screenshot of a while ago? And then it's like digging through all my files to find them.
Yeah. I feel like what I always forget is like I like to like rename them so that I know like what it is, rather than just having it be like screenshot 04892,
Yeah.
and then I'll forget to do that. And when I'm like specifically looking for a certain screenshot, I'm like, oh, of course that's the one that I labeled different or didn't label, and now I
Yeah.
can find it literally nowhere.
Yeah. And you have to like open every single one.
Yeah. It's a
Terrible.
process. Well, social media is great, but there are also a ton of like negative side. There is a negative side to social media. So is that something that you have experienced, maybe like negative comments or people just overall like leaving hate? And then how do you deal with that if you do experience it?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely get negative comments. I feel like I definitely don't get as much as like other like bigger creators and stuff where they're dealing with like every single day. Like I would say probably like once a week or so I'll get a comment, and I'm very like, I internalize it a lot, and I'll like be thinking about it for the rest of the day. And it like really obviously gets to me. I feel like it gets to like anyone, especially when you're being like vulnerable and like showing yourself, and then someone making fun of you or like tapping into an insecurity that they don't know that you have, but you do.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, and it's definitely something that just comes with the job, because yeah, everyone experiences it. But what I try to like think about is like that one negative comment versus like all the positive ones I get, which I get, everyone says that, and it's so easier said than done. But like for that one negative comment, like I got like 50 comments of people that saying that they liked my post, or like, then that's not even taking into account the people that actually like double tapped and just liked the
Mhm.
post and like saw it, that like didn't feel compelled enough to comment, but like they maybe they like thought about it. Like I see posts all the time where I'm like, oh, I really like that, but I just like don't comment on it or something because I'm like stalking them and I don't want them to like see. So also just trying to think like for every like one like negative person, there's probably like hundreds of people that like really like you and support you. I also think just kind of taking a break from being on your phone, like when you're like getting into those moods, like staying there and like scrolling. Like if I have a video, because on TikTok it's very common to get hate, like it just like happens all the
Mhm.
time. And if I'm posting a video that like where the like comments start turning into hate, because that does happen, then once it starts, everyone just gangs up on each other. Like I've had videos where like you just scroll and it's just a ton of hate about like something that I like said or I was wearing or something like that. I just like don't open up the comments, like, because I know you can get really distracted by like just opening it and then seeing it. And I like have videos that I've like just never checked the comments on because I see it in my notifications that people start like ganging up on me and like fighting with each other and stuff like that. So I just like refuse to open it. I just don't check my notifications for like a day or two. Like just don't go to that page. And if you like don't see it, in my eyes, it like doesn't exist. So it's like just avoiding that at all costs. And for your mental health, it's like really important. Because I know if I were to sit there and just scroll through and read all of them, like I would be sick to my stomach and be really upset and just ruin my day. And it's like all online. It doesn't even matter. It's like that person, it's just a projection of how they feel and they're probably just sad. So try not let it get to me too much, but definitely does get to me.
No, yeah, definitely. I feel like there's so many good things that you just said and so many things to touch on. I feel like um one of my biggest tips, not even just with like negative comments, but in general, like when I have 4 jobs, all of which are on social media. Like I am my own social media person, then I help run 3 social accounts. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I feel like I have been on my phone so much. And I always say this because I'm like, my boyfriend, I suck at texting him back. And it's because like, yes, I'm on my phone, but when I'm on my phone and I'm at work, like I don't think of my phone as like I can go and text and go and do other stuff on it. It's just like I'm working right now. And so I like as soon as I'm done posting on social and like responding to comments and getting back to DMs on like all 4 of the social platforms that I help run, like I just like get off my phone. And I feel like that has been really helpful because like social media can be so consuming, and people that don't like necessarily do it as a job also completely understand that, because like they'll be scrolling through TikTok and all of a sudden an hour will go by. So I feel like limiting yourself like on your phone, even though I don't limit, like I limit myself after the fact, after doing work, you know, like I do my work and then I limit myself. And so like I'll have friends that'll be like, oh, like you haven't texted in the group chat in like a month. And I'm like, I know I'm always on my phone, but it's like that is like I don't want to be on my phone at the end of the day. So I feel like just getting off your phone, which is something that I never thought like I would be able to do. Like my brother deleted like a bunch of social media platforms, and that's literally something I could never do because they're all my job. But like he was like, yeah, I'm just trying to like limit the time that I'm on my phone. And so I like that's something that I never thought I'd be able to do. And technically, like if you look at how much time I spent, like the little like
the screen time.
yeah, it's like it'll still say like 9 hours, but that's 9 hours at work, and that's not 9 hours like at home scrolling through like apps. And so I always try to like just do work and then get off my phone, and then do work and then get off my phone. And I feel like that's been like really helpful. And then like you said, like negative comments, those are literally just like people who are insecure about themselves about something. And someone said it once, I forget who, but they were talking about how like when you're jealous of someone, it's because they're doing something that you in your mind or in your subconscious or whatever think that you can't do or that you haven't done yet. So you're jealous of them for doing something that you can't do. So when you think of it like that, it's just like that person's hating on me because they're jealous of me, which is always always a thing that people say. And you just have to like remember that, and that like it says nothing about you. You like if you, I don't I can speak for myself. I think I can probably speak for you, but like I don't think I've ever left hate on someone's like post ever.
No.
And so that speaks to like me and my character. But someone leaving hate on like I remember this one time someone commented something really mean on one of my TikTok posts, and then someone else who I had no idea who they were commented back and being like let her live, or like I think that outfit's cute, or like whatever. And then I just responded to the person that like clapped back at the other person, and I was like, oh my god, hey, let's be friends, like girls who support girls. I love it.
Exactly.
So you just have to remember that like it's just a person behind a screen and that they can't affect you. And I feel like it's definitely like a growing process, you know, like it's like you have to remember that. And I mean, like I don't have enough of a following on TikTok to like get a ton of hate comments, but I still get some every now and then. And I do notice I'll be like, thinking about it. And then I'm like, you know what? Like, it just helps with the algorithm. It's another
Yeah, it just
comment.
helps with their engagement. Yeah. Because
It's
I
just
can't imagine having like a huge TikTok following, like an Addison Rae type vibe, or even like smaller than that, but like having like, I would say like 1 million followers. Like TikTok is such a place to like cultivate hate. Like people just love going on there and just ripping people to shreds. And like, I don't know how they do that, because that is like just a lot. Like, did you see like the Hulu, like the D'Amelio show, like documentary thing where they're
Mhm.
just like going through their hate all day? I'm like, all right, that would make it like just not fun for me anymore. And it sucks that it's like people's opinions can affect you that much. And it also sucks that TikTok has like no way of like moderating that, because it's like me holding up literally on my TikTok account. If I hold up, like I had like a haul video that I posted where I held up a corset, and they were like, they took it down for like nudity. And I'm like, this is literally just like, and it's like, if I'm wearing one, they take it down. Like they flag like so many different things, or even like comments and stuff, they'll like flag of mine like randomly, or they won't show up. But it's like, but you're allowing people to comment like kill yourself on
Mhm.
like tons of people's videos. Like it just doesn't make sense to me. And there definitely needs to be a better protocol about that, because when social media first came out, it was so like anti-bullying. Like we would go to assemblies and stuff, and I'm sure they still have them at schools where you do assemblies, but it's like, it's just, social media is so much bigger now, and now younger and younger kids have access to it who don't have their brains fully developed and don't understand. And like bullying definitely goes on in like schools. So it's really difficult, and it's like hard to like manage all that stuff, when I feel like it's like the higher ups need to be taking charge and doing something.
Yeah, me and my parents always talk about that, because my dad will be like, I mean, there was bullying back in my day, but like not like there is now. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yep, I know.
Well, it's
I
like you're
know.
also getting feedback on, like, so many people are giving you feedback, which is like, us as humans, like that has just never been a thing before, where I see so many people's lives that I would never meet if like social media wasn't a thing, which is like
Mhm.
beautiful, but it's also really scary that it's like how much information you're always consuming, how much comparison is going on. Like I'm like seeing girls that I would have never seen before and being like, why can't I look like them? But I'm like, if social media didn't exist, I'm like, I wouldn't even know that exists. Like
Mhm.
it's like
No,
just a lot
literally.
to always be consuming a lot of different things.
No, 100%. It's a scary thing. That's what I was saying, is
Mhm.
like, there are two very obvious sides to to social media in general. And like, hopefully the positives can like outweigh the negatives, but those negatives can really be
Mhm. Yeah,
scary.
I know. I know.
But moral of the story, you just have to remember that it has nothing to do with you and not let it affect you. And I know that that's hard, but like, you'll get there. It's like a growing thing. And um just remember that it says nothing about you, and you are the one putting yourself out there and being amazing and doing great things. And the people leaving hate are probably hiding behind a screen under user 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, whatever.
Yeah. You're not
So
gonna have that person stop you from going for your dreams and what you want to do. Like that's just not worth it. Like,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. Well, is there anything else that you would like to tell our listeners?
Not really. Thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun. I love doing podcasts. I'm such a podcast listener. Like I will listen to podcasts over music like 9 times out of 10, which is kind of a psycho move, I feel like, but I just love hearing people talk and like learning things this way. So thank you so much for having me. It's always so fun doing podcasts.
Oh my God, literally anytime. I am so glad that you could come on today. Where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find me at Claire Liz _ on pretty much everything. That's my universal username.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much. Make sure to follow Claire on her socials. And while you're at it, you can follow me. My Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube are all at Lexi Silverstein. That's Lexy, silver like the color, Stein. And remember to make the ordinary extraordinary.